You stand at the doorway of infinite possibilities. The only thing separating you from your desire is your own mind. You have been told that change takes time, that patience is necessary. But I tell you now, time is an illusion. The moment you claim something as yours, the universe moves to bring it forth. For a moment, and bring your desire into your awareness, not as something distant, not as something you hope to have, but as something that is already yours. See it, feel it, know it. The world you experience is nothing more than the outpicturing of your inner assumptions. What you accept as true in consciousness must manifest in form. Do not beg, do not plead. To desire something is to acknowledge its absence, but to assume it is yours is to claim its presence. Assume, right now, enter the state of the wish fulfilled. Feel the satisfaction deep within you, as though your desire is already fact. How would you breathe, stand, or speak if your desire had already come to pass? Step into that version of yourself now, the one who already has it. Be it. The world is a mirror, reflecting back the assumptions you hold most dominantly. If doubt arises, silence it with certainty. Rest in the feeling that it is done. You do not need to lift a finger to force the outcome. Your only task is to accept, to feel, to know. The moment you align with the reality of your fulfilled desire, reality has no choice but to rearrange itself to match your inner conviction. 1 hour from now, something will shift. Perhaps a sign, a message, an opportunity, but more importantly, you will have changed. And as you change, your world must follow. So stand in your power. Assume, feel, and watch as what once seemed impossible bends effortlessly to your will. The world you see with your eyes is not as solid, fixed, or real as you have been led to believe. What you touch, what you hear, what you perceive as reality is nothing more than a reflection, a mirror of what you hold within. The foundation of your entire existence is not built upon external circumstances, but upon the images, feelings, and assumptions you entertain in the privacy of your own mind. If you wish to change your life, you must first understand this truth. Imagination is the only reality. Everything you now experience was once an unseen thought, a fleeting image, a momentary feeling that became persistent. Your job is not to struggle with the outer world, but to command the inner, knowing with absolute certainty that the outer world will conform. Take a moment to observe your surroundings, the home you live in, the relationships you hold, the circumstances of your life. All of it existed first as an idea, a belief, a state of being before it solidified into what you now call reality. What many fail to realize is that the world does not happen to them, they happen to the world. They are the cause and the world is the effect. If you persist in an idea, in a vision, and feel it deeply enough, it must manifest. There is no exception to this law. The person who imagines themselves as a failure will find evidence to confirm that assumption, just as surely as the one who imagines themselves as successful will see their world bend to support that truth. The process is the same. The only difference is what you choose to believe in. You must abandon the notion that reality is something outside of your control, something fixed and unchangeable. It is not. It is fluid, ever moving, ever responding to the inner movements of your imagination. What you see today is merely a snapshot of past assumptions, a delayed reflection of the states you have occupied. If you desire change, it is not the outside world you must fight, but the inner world you must refine. Imagination is not some fleeting fantasy, not an idle daydream without consequence. It is the force behind all creation. Every invention, every masterpiece, every revolution in human history began in the unseen realm of thought before it took form. What you hold in your imagination with faith and conviction will harden into fact, just as surely as the sun rises each morning. The challenge is not in the act of imagining. but in the ability to persist in the assumption despite what the senses may report. Many abandon their desires because they do not see immediate evidence. They allow doubt to creep in, letting the outer world dictate their beliefs rather than allowing their inner world to shape their experience. But you must not be swayed by appearances. What you see now is simply a result of past imaginings. If you hold firm to your new vision, the world must shift accordingly. Begin now. Close your eyes and call forth the image of your fulfilled desire. Do not see it as something distant, something you hope for in the future. See it as now. Feel it. Experience the joy, the relief, the excitement. Let it become more real to you than the world outside. When you open your eyes, walk as though it is already done. Speak, think, and act from the state of the wish fulfilled. Doubt will whisper in your ear, trying to pull you back into old ways of thinking. Ignore it. The world may not change instantly, but it is already rearranging itself to bring forth your assumption. Persist. Hold the feeling. Trust that what is unseen will become seen, for it is law. You are not at the mercy of fate, chance, or circumstances. You are the creator. The power that shapes worlds moves through you, waiting only for direction. Take command of your imagination, and you take command of your life. Change begins within, and when you master the inner world, the outer world must bow to your vision. The greatest secret to manifesting your desires is not struggle, effort, or waiting. It is assumption. Assumption is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, between the imagined and the real. It is not enough to wish, to hope, or to dream of a better life. You must assume that your desire is already fulfilled. The moment you accept it as fact in your inner world, it begins to take form in the outer world. This is not a possibility. It is a law. Most people live in a state of waiting. They wait for signs, for circumstances to change, for permission to believe in what they desire. But waiting is an acknowledgement of lack. To wait for something is to admit that it is not yet yours. And as long as you hold that assumption, your world will reflect it. The one who waits is always waiting, just as the one who assumes possession is always receiving. You must walk in the state of the wish fulfilled. This means moving through life not as someone hoping for change, but as someone who has already received it. If you desired wealth, how would you think, feel, and behave if it were already yours? Would you worry? Would you doubt? Or would you rest in the certainty that it is done? If you long for love, do you dwell in loneliness, or do you assume the warmth of already being cherished? Your world conforms to your dominant assumptions, not to fleeting wishes. To assume means to embody. It is not merely affirming words or visualizing passively. It is stepping into the reality of your fulfilled desire and carrying yourself as the version of you who already has what they want. If you were already successful, how would you carry yourself? If you were already living in your dream home, how would you feel as you move through each day? Would your posture change? Would your thoughts be different? Would your emotions reflect fulfillment rather than longing? This is the key. You must train your mind to dwell in the feeling of already having. The outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner world. It does not create, it responds. If you assume lack, it will show you lack. If you assume fulfillment, it must mirror that fulfillment back to you. There is no force outside of you deciding what you can or cannot have. There is only your assumption. Do not wait for proof. Proof follows belief, not the other way around. Many people make the mistake of saying, I will believe it when I see it, but this is backward. You will see it when you believe it. The world has no choice but to conform to the reality you hold most dominantly in your consciousness. If doubt arises, do not entertain it. Doubt is simply the mind clinging to the old state, the state you have outgrown. Do not argue with it, simply return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You are not convincing anyone else, you are convincing yourself. And once you accept your new reality internally, the external world will rearrange itself accordingly. Persist. The moment you assume, something shifts. You may not see it immediately, but the unseen forces of reality are already in motion. The world must yield to your conviction. Do not waver between belief and doubt, between assuming and then questioning. Hold firm. The one who remains unwavering in their assumption will see their desire materialize with absolute certainty. Your desires were given to you for a reason. They are not random. They are a call to step into a new state of being. An assumption is the vehicle that takes you there. No force outside of you is stopping your manifestation. Only your unwillingness to assume it is already yours. Right now, in this very moment, assume. Assume the feeling, the knowing, the certainty that what you desire is already done. Carry it with you. Live from it. And watch as the world bends to reflect the truth you have claimed. Time, in its relentless progression, is nothing more than a construct, a framework we have invented to make sense of our experiences. In truth, there is no waiting, no striving, there is only being. When you learn to accept your desire as true in this very moment, you step into a realm where the boundaries of time dissolve, and your inner conviction immediately influences your outer world. Every moment becomes an opportunity to affirm your reality, to choose the feeling of fulfillment rather than the anticipation of its arrival. Imagine for a moment that the act of creation is not a process that unfolds gradually, but an instantaneous unfolding of your inner truth. When you fully immerse yourself in the present and allow the reality you desire to resonate within, you are no longer separated by the illusion of past regrets or future anxieties. Instead, you exist in a state of pure, unadulterated now, where the power of your inner vision is unchallenged by the ticking of a clock or the calendar pages turning. In this moment, every breath you take is a reaffirmation of the fact that your desire is already a reality. The concept of waiting is a deceptive one. It implies that something is missing, that an external force must act, or that you must earn the right to experience what you truly seek. But when you understand that every external manifestation is simply a mirror reflecting your inner state, the idea of waiting becomes obsolete. It is not about working harder or enduring prolonged periods of struggle. It is about aligning yourself with the truth of your desire and inhabiting that truth wholeheartedly. In that instant of alignment, the desire externalizes because the reality you have imagined so vividly in your mind cannot help but find expression in the physical world. When you embrace the power of now, you release yourself from the tyranny of time. Instead of allowing the past to anchor you or the future to unsettle you, you remain anchored in the eternal present. This is the space where creation happens, where the image of your desire, held in the depths of your consciousness, is given life. As you accept that your desire is already true, you transcend the limitations of time. The external world, which seems to operate on its own sluggish timeline, is compelled to catch up with the immediacy of your inner knowing. It is as if your consciousness sends out a signal so potent that it reorders the fabric of reality to mirror the truth you have established within yourself. There is a profound freedom in realizing that the power to manifest does not lie in endless waiting or exhausting striving. It lies in the simple act of being, of existing in a state where you already have what you desire. When you rest in the certainty of your wish fulfilled, your energy flows effortlessly, like a river that finds its course without resistance. The struggle to bridge the gap between what is and what isn't evaporates when you claim the fullness of the now. It is a state of surrender, yet also of tremendous empowerment. You surrender the notion that time delays your fulfillment, and instead embrace the certainty that every moment holds the potential for immediate creation. Consider how this shift in perspective transforms your everyday life. Instead of fixating on what has not yet come to pass, you allow yourself to experience the joy and satisfaction of your fulfilled desire right now. This does not mean ignoring the practicalities of life, but rather it means that you are no longer at the mercy of external circumstances. Your inner world becomes the primary source of your experience, and every action, every thought is imbued with the feeling of completeness. With this deep-seated conviction, you move through life with a quiet assurance that nothing is missing, that all is as it should be. When you adopt the power of now, you tap into a wellspring of creativity and possibility that is always available. Your inner state becomes a fertile ground where every desire, every aspiration is nurtured and eventually blossoms into reality. The key is to hold fast to the present, to recognize that the moment in which you stand is all there ever is. By doing so, you honor the immediacy of your existence, and you send a clear message to the universe that your inner vision is not a distant dream, but an eternal truth that commands manifestation. In embracing the now, you step into a reality where every instant is a celebration of your creative power. You become the master of your destiny by simply accepting that what you seek is already done. And in that acceptance, you find the freedom to live fully, unburdened by the constraints of time and expectation. The power to create the life you desire does not come from wishful thinking or sheer determination alone. It comes from emotional certainty. The moment you feel, with unwavering conviction, that your desire is already yours, the unseen begins to take form in the seen. Your emotions are the bridge between what exists within and what appears without. When you master the ability to generate the feeling of already having what you desire, you step into a realm where manifestation is effortless and inevitable. The mind often plays tricks, keeping you trapped in a cycle of doubt and longing. You may visualize, you may affirm, but if deep down you still feel uncertain, if you still experience the absence of what you seek, then you are reinforcing lack rather than fulfillment. The secret is not in the words you say or the images you hold. It is in the emotions that accompany them. You must not only think about your desire, you must feel it as though it is real now. Imagine for a moment that your greatest wish has already come true. Breathe deeply into that reality. How does it feel? There is no tension, no worry, no questioning. There is only relief. The longing has vanished because the thing you wanted is now yours. You feel gratitude, not for something you hope will come, but for something that is already here. Your heart expands with joy, and you move through life with the quiet assurance of someone who possesses all they need. This emotional certainty is what seals the deal. It is what transforms an imagined state into an external fact. Many make the mistake of believing they need to see proof before they can feel certainty. They wait for signs, for movement in the outer world before allowing themselves to rejoice. But the truth is reversed. The feeling comes first, and the evidence follows. The universe does not respond to vague hopes or empty affirmations. It responds to the deep, unshakable knowing within you. When you feel the reality of your desire with absolute conviction, the world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. Think of the times in your life when you knew something with certainty, long before it appeared. Perhaps there was a job, an opportunity, or a relationship that you just knew was yours. You didn't second guess it. You didn't need external validation. You simply felt it was already done. And sure enough, events unfolded in your favor. This is not coincidence. It is the natural law of manifestation at work. What you accept emotionally as real must externalize, for your emotions are the creative force that gives life to your thoughts. Doubt is the only thing that can delay your manifestation. When you oscillate between belief and uncertainty, between feeling the wish fulfilled and then fearing it won't happen, you are sending mixed signals. The universe mirrors back to you exactly what you hold in your consciousness. And if that consciousness is unstable, the results will be equally uncertain. But when you lock in the feeling of already having your desire, when you rest in the security of knowing it is done, then it must materialize in your world. This is why gratitude is such a powerful tool. Gratitude is not a passive emotion. It is an active acknowledgement of possession. When you feel grateful, you are not yearning, you are confirming. You are signaling to the universe that you already have what you desire, and in doing so, you invite it into your reality with even greater speed. Gratitude removes resistance, dissolves doubt, and deepens your emotional certainty. It is the final stamp that declares your manifestation complete. The practice of emotional certainty is not about forcing yourself to feel something artificially. It is about training your mind and body to reside in the state of the wish fulfilled. It is about shifting from a state of wanting to a state of having, from hoping to knowing. You do this by immersing yourself in the emotions of fulfillment daily. You wake up each morning feeling as if your desire has already been granted. You carry yourself throughout the day with the energy of someone who has already received what they asked for. You go to bed in peace, resting in the assurance that it is done. Your emotions are the key, the bridge, the final step in making your desire a reality. Thought alone is not enough. It must be accompanied by feeling. If you can hold the emotional certainty that what you seek is already yours, then there is no power in the universe that can deny you. The world will shift, people will move, circumstances will align, all to bring forth that which you have already claimed within. The moment you accept your desire as real, let it go. Do not check for signs, do not question when or how it will happen, and do not contradict it with disbelief. The very act of needing proof or searching for validation introduces doubt, which disrupts the natural unfolding of your manifestation. True creation happens in certainty, in the calm knowing that what you have imagined is already yours. Detachment is not indifference. It is the highest form of trust. Many people struggle with detachment because they confuse it with giving up. They think that if they stop thinking about their desire, they will lose it. But the opposite is true. When you plant a seed in the ground, you do not dig it up every day to see if it is growing. You trust the process. You know that as long as the conditions are right, the seed will sprout. In the same way, once you have accepted your desire as true, you must allow it the space to manifest without interference. Clutching to it too tightly, obsessing over when it will appear, or constantly looking for evidence only signals to the universe that you do not yet believe in its reality. Doubt is subtle but powerful. It creeps in the moment you start wondering if what you desire is possible, if you are worthy of it, or if the world will allow it to happen. Each of these thoughts contradicts the state of having. If you had already received your desire, would you be checking for signs? Would you be questioning its existence? No. You would be living in the reality of already having it. That is the energy you must maintain. The more you question, the more you delay. The more you let go, the faster it comes. Detachment is not about suppressing your desires, but about surrendering them with full confidence. It means shifting from a mindset of waiting to a mindset of receiving. Waiting implies uncertainty. It suggests that you are still hoping, still wishing, still unsure. But receiving means you know it is already yours, and because you know, you no longer need to search for proof. Just as you do not doubt whether the sun will rise tomorrow, you do not doubt that your desire will materialize. You trust that the moment you claimed it, it became real, and now it is simply making its way to you in the most natural way possible. One of the greatest barriers to detachment is the habit of overanalyzing. People often get caught in the trap of questioning every little detail, trying to figure out how things will unfold, or worrying about obstacles that may arise. But manifestation does not require your micromanagement. It requires your faith. The path to your desire is not yours to control. It is yours to allow. The moment you interfere, you introduce resistance. Instead of trying to manipulate circumstances, step back and let things fall into place. Rest in the knowing that all is already taken care of. Detachment feels like peace. It is the relief of knowing that your work is done. When you have placed an order at a restaurant, you do not keep asking the waiter whether the food is coming. You do not worry about whether the chef knows how to cook it or whether they will forget your request. You simply relax, engage in conversation, and trust that what you ordered is on its way. This is the same level of certainty you must cultivate with your manifestations. The moment you have assumed it as true, it is done. Your only job is to stay in the feeling of having, not to question its arrival. Gratitude is one of the most powerful ways to detach, because it places you in the state of already having. When you express gratitude for something, you are affirming its presence in your life. It is impossible to feel both thankful and doubtful at the same time. If you truly believe you have received your desire, gratitude will come naturally. And if you practice gratitude daily, it will reinforce your certainty. When you feel thankful, you are not chasing, you are not searching, you are enjoying the moment, which is exactly what someone who already has their desire would do. Detachment is also about freeing yourself from external validation. Many people look to the outside world for signs that their manifestation is working. They constantly check for movement, waiting for confirmation before they allow themselves to believe. But true manifestation comes from within. The world reflects what you hold inside, not the other way around. The less you need to see proof, the faster proof will appear. Let go of the habit of measuring progress, and instead focus on maintaining the inner state of fulfillment. The fastest way to receive your desire is to forget about needing it. This does not mean you stop wanting it. It means you stop longing for it. The energy of longing creates distance, while the energy of fulfillment brings it closer. If you can live as if you already have what you desire, you will no longer feel the need to chase it. And when you stop chasing, it comes to you naturally. This is the paradox of manifestation. The more you hold on, the further it drifts. The more you release, the faster it arrives. Detachment is the final step that locks in your manifestation. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing that you do not need to fight for what is already yours. The moment you accept your desire as real and let go of the need to question or check for its arrival, you clear the path for it to appear effortlessly. You do not wait, you receive. You do not hope, you know. And in that knowing, your reality transforms. The world you experience is not separate from you. It is a reflection of your inner state. Every belief you hold, every assumption you entertain, and every conviction you accept as true shapes the reality unfolding before you. The world does not operate independently of your mind. It bends and molds itself to fit the dominant thoughts you persist in. If you wish to see a different reality, you must first change the one within. Most people believe that the external world is fixed, something they must struggle against or work tirelessly to change. They think circumstances control them, that they are at the mercy of chance, fate, or other people's decisions. But this belief is an illusion. The world is not something happening to you, it is something happening through you. Your dominant state of being, what you consistently assume to be true, creates the conditions you encounter. It is never the other way around. If you believe the world is unfair, difficult, or filled with struggle, it will be. Not because life is inherently that way, but because your inner world dictates the experience you have. The same is true if you assume life is abundant, easy, and full of joy. Whatever you persist in believing, the world will faithfully mirror. This is why two people can live in the same city, face similar situations, yet have completely different experiences. It is not the world that determines their reality, but their perception of it. Assumptions are the unseen forces sculpting your world. They are the silent architects of your life, shaping every interaction, every opportunity, and every challenge. When you assume you are lucky, opportunities seem to appear effortlessly. When you assume people respect you, they treat you accordingly. When you assume things always work out in your favor, they do. This is not magic, nor is it coincidence. It is the law of consciousness in action. Your assumptions dictate the way the world responds to you. Many people try to change their lives by forcing external conditions to shift before they have addressed the root cause, their own beliefs. They work harder, chase more, fight against circumstances, all while still holding on to the same limiting assumptions that created those circumstances in the first place. But forcing change from the outside is futile. The real transformation happens within. The moment you shift your inner reality, the external world has no choice but to follow. This is why the most powerful work you can do is not in trying to manipulate the world around you, but in mastering the world within you. If you want more abundance, you must assume you are already abundant. If you want love, you must assume you are already loved. If you want success, you must assume you are already successful. The external world does not initiate change, it responds to it. And it responds with absolute precision, always reflecting back what you hold as true. This is why changing your assumptions is the key to transformation. The challenge, however, is that most people do not even realize the assumptions they hold. They operate from deeply ingrained beliefs that they have never questioned. If you were told from childhood that money is hard to come by, you assume it is true, and the world confirms it. If you grew up believing you are not worthy of love, your relationships will reflect that belief. These assumptions run beneath the surface, quietly dictating the experiences you have. But the moment you recognize them, you reclaim your power to change them. Awareness is the first step. Begin observing your life not as something happening to you, but as something revealing your inner state. If you constantly face obstacles, ask yourself, what am I assuming about life? If people treat you with disrespect, ask yourself, what am I assuming about my worth? The outer world is your greatest teacher because it shows you without distortion what you truly believe. Once you identify the assumptions that no longer serve you, replace them. Do not fight against the old, simply introduce the new. Assume the reality you wish to experience. Move through the world as if it is already yours. The key is persistence. Your mind may resist at first, but the more you impress new assumptions upon it, the more natural they become. And as they become natural within you, they become inevitable outside of you. You do not need to control people, circumstances, or events. You only need to control your inner world. When you shift your assumptions, the world reshapes itself to fit them. This is the secret to effortless manifestation. There is no struggle, no waiting, no forcing. There is only alignment. The world does not bend to your will, it bends to your certainty. The moment you know something is true within, it must become true without. Nothing in the world is separate from you. Every experience, every opportunity, every challenge is a reflection of the assumptions you hold. If you wish to change what you see, change what you believe. The world cannot help but conform to the image you hold within. Everything you seek is already within you. The world is not something separate, not something you must chase or struggle against. It is a reflection of your inner state. Your assumptions shape your experiences, your emotions bridge the unseen to the seen, and your certainty brings desires into reality. The moment you accept your wish as already fulfilled, the world must conform. There is no delay, no external force working against you, only your own consciousness unfolding into form. Detach from doubt, rest in the knowing that it is done, and watch as reality shifts to meet your conviction. You are the creator of your experience. What you hold as true within must become true without. There is no need to wait, beg, or force. Simply assume, feel, and trust. The world bends to your dominant state of being. Align with your desire, and it must become your reality. Ding dong. Have you ever felt as though your world was being turned upside down? As if everything that was once stable is now shifting beyond your control? Do not fear. This is not destruction. This is divine reconstruction. Before great blessings arrive, life often becomes unpredictable. You may face sudden challenges, unexpected endings, and moments of deep uncertainty. But understand this: God never subtracts without the intent to multiply. What feels like rejection is, in truth, redirection. What appears as loss is simply the pruning before the harvest. One of the first signs that something extraordinary is coming your way is separation. You will notice relationships falling away, old habits losing their appeal, and doors closing without explanation. Do not fight this process. God removes what no longer serves you because He is making space for something greater. Resistance will appear. The path may suddenly seem filled with obstacles, delays, and tests that stretch your faith to its limits. But recognize this: resistance is the signal that you are moving in the right direction. The bigger the blessing, the greater the opposition. This is not the time to retreat. It is the time to stand firm in the unseen promise. There is the undeniable inner knowing. You will feel it. A quiet but unwavering certainty deep within you. Even when nothing on the outside affirms it, something inside you will refuse to let go of the vision. That is God's way of whispering, "Hold on. I am about to do something beyond what you imagine." But before the manifestation comes the final test: patience. You will be asked to trust, to believe, and to keep walking, even when you cannot yet see the destination. This is where most give up. But those who endure, those who trust, despite the silence, will walk into a reality far greater than they ever prayed for. And just when you are ready to surrender, you will begin to see the signs. A sudden opportunity, a chance encounter, a message that seems meant just for you. The unseen world will start aligning in ways beyond your comprehension. So if you are in a season of uncertainty, if you are feeling stretched, tested, or alone, rejoice. Something big is on its way. The preparation may be uncomfortable, but the promise is certain. God is not punishing you. He is positioning you. Your breakthrough is not far. It is already written. All you must do now is trust, believe, and step forward into the unseen. For what is coming is beyond anything you have ever imagined. There comes a moment in life when everything you once relied upon begins to shift, as if the very foundation beneath your feet is crumbling. The stability you once knew seems distant, and what was familiar suddenly feels foreign. You may find yourself questioning why things are falling apart, why relationships are dissolving, why opportunities that seem so certain are now slipping through your fingers. It is in these moments of deep uncertainty that many feel abandoned, lost in the chaos of unanswered prayers. But what if this apparent destruction is not an end, but a beginning? What if what you perceive as loss is, in truth, divine preparation for something far greater than you could ever imagine? There is a higher order to all things, a rhythm unseen by the physical eye, but deeply felt in the soul. When great change is on the horizon, life must first be rearranged to make room for it. You cannot carry the old into the new. The past must be stripped away so that something greater can take its place. It is not punishment, it is not misfortune, it is simply the divine clearing space for what is meant for you. Consider the ways in which growth happens. A seed, before it becomes a tree, must first break apart beneath the soil. To the untrained eye, it would appear as though the seed is being destroyed, but in reality it is beginning its transformation. The shell must crack, the roots must push through the dirt, and only after enduring darkness and pressure does it finally break through to the light. Such is the process of elevation. Before you can rise, you must first be broken open. Many resist this breaking, clinging to what is familiar even when it no longer serves them. They hold on to relationships that drain them, jobs that limit them, environments that keep them stagnant. They pray for change but fear what it requires. And so, when the shift begins, when people leave, when doors close, when life seems to unravel, they panic. They fight to hold on to what was instead of trusting what is to come. But you cannot step into the next chapter of your life while clinging to the last. The discomfort you feel is not a sign to retreat. It is a call to surrender. Life is removing what no longer aligns with who you are becoming. The friendships that faded, the opportunities that vanished, the plans that fell apart. It was all necessary. If it was meant for you, it would have stayed. If it was removed, it was never truly yours to begin with, or its purpose in your journey has been fulfilled. In the midst of transition, the mind searches for certainty. It wants to understand why things are happening the way they are, why events unfolded as they did. But this process is not meant to be understood from the perspective of the present. It only becomes clear in hindsight. You must trust that what seems like chaos now is actually divine order in disguise. Think of the caterpillar in its cocoon. From the outside, it looks as though it is trapped, undergoing an unseen struggle. But within, a transformation is taking place. The very structure of its being is dissolving, reshaping, preparing for the moment it will emerge as something completely new. If you were to interrupt this process, to force it out before its time, it would never develop the strength needed to fly. So too must you allow your transformation to unfold. At times, the breaking will feel unbearable. You will question why things are happening the way they are. You may feel as though you have been abandoned by life itself, as if everything you worked for has been taken from you, without reason. But in those moments, remind yourself that you are not being destroyed. You are being redefined. You are not losing. You are being positioned for something greater. There is no elevation without disruption. There is no growth without discomfort. Those who rise the highest are often the ones who endured the most profound transformation, the ones who trusted even when they could not see, the ones who released what no longer served them and stepped forward, even when the path ahead was unclear. This is not a setback, it is a setup. Life is not punishing you, it is preparing you. The things being stripped away were never meant to be permanent. They were simply the scaffolding, the temporary structures that supported you for a time. Now they must be removed so that you can stand fully in the new reality that awaits you. So let go. Stop fighting to hold on to what is leaving. Stop mourning what is meant to be released. Trust that the space being cleared is making room for something beyond your imagination. What is coming is greater than what was lost. The divine does not take without the intent to give in greater measure. One day you will look back and understand. You will see that what felt like the end was actually the beginning, that the pain was not punishment but preparation, that every loss led to an even greater gain. Until then, trust the process. Trust that life is always working in your favor, even when it feels like it isn't. You are not being broken. You are being transformed. And what is waiting for you on the other side of this moment is beyond anything you have ever known. There comes a time in your journey when the world around you begins to shift in ways you cannot control. The people you once held close start to drift away. The doors that once stood open now close without warning. The familiar conversations fade, and the noise that once filled your days is replaced by an unsettling silence. You may wonder why it is happening, why the ones who were once constant in your life are now absent, why the opportunities that seemed promising have vanished, why you feel more alone than ever before. But what if this isolation is not a punishment but a sign? What if this solitude is not an empty void but a sacred space for transformation? God does not elevate you in the crowd. He separates you first. He pulls you away from distractions, from attachments, from the things that keep you bound to the person you once were. You may feel abandoned, as if the very fabric of your life is unraveling. But what is truly happening is a shedding, a necessary release of all that no longer aligns with your destiny. You cannot move forward while clinging to what was. And so, before the next chapter begins, before the breakthrough arrives, you will find yourself in the wilderness of solitude. This solitude is not a curse, it is a calling, a divine invitation to go deeper, to see more clearly, to become who you were always meant to be. When the noise of the world fades, when the opinions of others no longer cloud your mind, you begin to hear what was always there, the quiet yet powerful voice within. In this silence, you will come to know yourself in ways you never have before. You will see your own strength, your own resilience, your own worth. You will begin to shed the layers of identity that were shaped by others, peeling away the expectations, the false attachments, the need for external validation. At first, the isolation may feel unbearable. Humans are wired for connection, and to suddenly find yourself alone can feel unnatural. You may feel tempted to run back to familiar places, to rekindle old relationships, to seek comfort in the very things that life has been pulling you away from. But you must resist this urge. The separation is happening for a reason. The doors that closed were never meant to remain open. The people who left were never meant to stay. If they were part of your destiny, they would still be here. Let them go. Understand that not everyone is meant to walk with you into the next season of your life. Some relationships were only meant to serve a purpose for a time. Some connections were only meant to teach you lessons, not to last forever. Growth requires distance. Elevation requires separation. If you are being pulled into solitude, it is because God is preparing to reveal something to you that cannot be understood in the presence of distractions. The most profound moments of transformation happen in the quiet. It is in this stillness that you will begin to see the bigger picture, to recognize the patterns, to understand why things had to unfold the way they did. The answers you have been seeking will come, not through others, but through the deep knowing within you. This is the season where you will discover the power that has always been inside you, the strength that was buried beneath the noise, the wisdom that was drowned out by the world. Solitude is where your spirit is refined. It is where your faith is tested. It is where you are stripped of all illusions and left with nothing but the truth. And the truth is this: you were never alone. Even in your most isolated moments, even when it felt like no one understood, even when the silence felt unbearable, God was there, watching, guiding, preparing. The separation is not the end, it is the beginning. When the time is right, new doors will open, but this time they will not be doors of illusion or distraction. They will be doors aligned with your highest path. The people who enter your life next will not drain your energy but uplift you. The opportunities that come will not require you to shrink yourself, but to rise into your fullest expression. Everything that is truly meant for you will find you once you have been prepared to receive it. So embrace the solitude. Let it do its work. Allow it to shape you, to strengthen you, to clear the path ahead. The loneliness you feel now is temporary, but the transformation it brings will last forever. You are not being abandoned, you are being elevated, and when you emerge from this season, you will not be the same. You will be clearer, stronger, and more aligned than ever before. This is not a loss, this is preparation for something far greater than you could ever imagine. There will come a moment on your journey when nothing seems to go as planned. The path that once seemed clear suddenly becomes clouded with obstacles. The things that once flowed effortlessly now feel blocked at every turn. You put in the effort, yet nothing moves. You pray, yet the answer seems delayed. You move forward, but resistance meets you at every step. It feels as if everything is working against you. You question whether you should continue or turn back. But what if this opposition is not a sign to stop, but an indication that you are on the verge of something greater? Resistance always comes before revelation. The struggles you are facing are not random. They are not punishment. They are preparation. Every delay, every obstacle, every moment of frustration is shaping you, refining you, strengthening you for what lies ahead. If you were not meant for something greater, there would be no resistance. The fact that you are facing so much opposition is proof that something powerful is unfolding. Think of a seed buried beneath the soil. Before it can break through the surface, it must push through the dirt, the darkness, the weight pressing down on it. The pressure is not meant to destroy it, but to strengthen it for its emergence. And just like that seed, you too are being prepared. The obstacles in your way are not barriers, they are stepping stones. The delays are not denials, they are divine timing at work. Yet in these moments, the mind plays tricks. Doubt creeps in. You begin to wonder if you are doing something wrong, if you have misread the signs, if you should give up altogether. This is where many people turn back. They mistake the resistance for a message to quit. But those who understand the nature of growth know that struggle is part of the process. Every great breakthrough is preceded by opposition. Every transformation requires discomfort. You cannot rise to a new level without first facing the forces that seek to keep you bound to the old one. The opposition you face is not there to stop you, it is there to test you. Do you truly believe in your vision? Will you stand firm when things don't go as expected? Will you keep moving forward when every excuse to quit presents itself? These challenges are refining your character. They are stripping away weakness, self-doubt, and fear. They are forcing you to develop resilience, faith, and patience. Delays can feel frustrating, but they are often the greatest blessings in disguise. What looks like stagnation is actually divine alignment. If something is being delayed, it is because the timing is not yet right. If you were to receive your breakthrough before you were fully prepared, you might mishandle it. There are lessons you must learn, perspectives you must gain, strength you must build before you step into the next level. The delay is not a rejection, it is a divine recalibration. Consider the caterpillar that must endure the darkness of the cocoon before it can emerge as a butterfly. The struggle it faces as it pushes through the cocoon is not a mistake, it is necessary. If someone were to cut the cocoon open prematurely, the butterfly would never develop the strength to fly. The same is true for you. The process may feel slow, the pressure may feel overwhelming, but every challenge is preparing you for the strength you will need to sustain the blessing that is coming. Opposition also serves another purpose. It reveals what is within you. It exposes the parts of you that still operate from fear, that still rely on external validation, that still question whether you are truly capable. And in that exposure, you are given the chance to grow, to release old doubts, to build new confidence, to strengthen your faith, to become someone who no longer reacts to delays with frustration, but with trust, someone who no longer sees obstacles as roadblocks, but as confirmation that something greater is coming. So when you encounter resistance, do not retreat, do not shrink back in fear, do not allow delays to make you doubt. Instead, lean into the process. Trust that every obstacle is shaping you. Trust that the delays are aligning you. Trust that what is meant for you will not pass you by. Keep going, keep believing, keep moving forward. The resistance you are facing now is the final test before the breakthrough. The pressure you feel is not a sign that you are failing, it is proof that you are on the verge of transformation. You are being refined, prepared, strengthened for something bigger than you can imagine. And when the moment comes, when the doors finally open, when the delays give way to destiny, you will understand why every obstacle was necessary. You will see that nothing was wasted. You will recognize that the resistance was never meant to break you, but to build you into the person who is ready to receive everything that has been waiting for you. There comes a time when everything around you seems uncertain. The world may look unstable, your plans may seem to fall apart, and nothing appears to be going as expected. Yet deep within you there is a quiet voice, a knowing that refuses to fade. It is not loud or demanding, but it is steady, unwavering, and undeniable. No matter how much doubt tries to creep in, no matter how many obstacles arise, this inner conviction remains. This is not wishful thinking, nor is it blind optimism. This is something deeper, something sacred. It is God whispering to you, reminding you that your breakthrough is near. When you are on the verge of something great, external circumstances will often suggest otherwise. You may experience setbacks, delays, and even moments of despair. People may doubt you, opportunities may seem scarce, and the road ahead may feel impossible to navigate. But through it all, There is an unshakable knowing within you that keeps pulling you forward. It is as if your soul already knows what is coming, even if your mind struggles to see it. This inner knowing is not something you create, it is something you receive. It is a divine confirmation, an assurance that cannot be logically explained, but can always be felt. It speaks to you in moments of stillness. It strengthens you when fear tries to take over. It reminds you that no matter how things appear, something is shifting in your favor. The breakthrough is already set in motion, and all you have to do is trust. Trusting in this knowing is not always easy. The logical mind demands evidence. It wants proof before belief. It looks at what is happening on the outside and insists that nothing is changing. But faith operates differently. Faith is the ability to stand firm even when there is no visible proof. Faith listens to the whisper of certainty rather than the noise of doubt. Faith does not wait for the manifestation to believe. It believes first, knowing that the manifestation must follow. There is a reason why you feel this inner certainty, despite everything around you seeming chaotic. It is because what is coming is already yours. You are not chasing it. You are aligning with it. You are not wishing for it. You are stepping into it. The unshakable knowing within you is evidence that what you seek is already making its way to you. Consider a mother in the final weeks of pregnancy. She may not see the child yet, but she knows beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is there. The waiting does not make her question whether the child exists. The discomfort does not make her doubt whether birth will happen. She carries the certainty within her, even when she cannot yet hold what she knows is coming. In the same way, you are carrying the promise of what is to come. The discomfort, the waiting, and even the uncertainty are all part of the process. But the knowing within you, that is the ultimate sign that you are on the brink of something extraordinary. This is why when you feel that inner conviction, you must hold on to it. Do not allow external circumstances to shake your belief. Do not let temporary obstacles make you question the inevitable. The very fact that you feel this deep certainty means that God has already set things in motion. Your breakthrough is not something you need to force into existence. It is something that is unfolding in divine timing, but patience is required. Those who give up too soon never get to witness the full manifestation of their faith. The moment just before a breakthrough often feels the most challenging. The pressure increases, the obstacles seem greater, and the waiting feels unbearable, but this is not a sign to quit. It is a sign that you are closer than ever. The resistance before a breakthrough is always the greatest, because transformation requires endurance. Many people dismiss their inner knowing because they expect the journey to be easy. They believe that if something is truly meant for them, it should arrive without struggle. But nothing great is birthed without a process. A diamond is not formed without pressure. A butterfly does not emerge without the struggle of breaking free from the cocoon. And in the same way, your breakthrough requires that you hold firm even when everything around you tries to convince you otherwise. The key is to cultivate trust. When doubt whispers, remind yourself of the certainty that has been placed within you. When circumstances seem to contradict what you believe, remember that reality is always shifting. What you see now is not the final chapter. Keep moving forward, keep believing, and do not waver in your conviction. You will look back and realize that the knowing you had was never wrong. You will see that every delay had a purpose, that every obstacle strengthened you, and that every moment of uncertainty was simply a test of your faith. You will step into what you always knew was yours, and when you do, you will understand why God placed that unshakable knowing within you from the very beginning. There is a moment in every journey when the waiting becomes difficult, when doubt creeps in, and when you wonder if what you desire will ever come to pass. It is in this moment that faith is truly tested. Before receiving something big, you must first prove that you can trust without seeing, that you can believe even when there is no visible evidence. This is not a punishment, it is preparation. It is the divine testing of patience and faith. God stretches your faith before He delivers His promise, not to make you suffer, but to make you ready. Faith is not needed when everything is going well. It is not tested in moments of ease or certainty. Faith is proven in the unseen, in the silence, in the waiting. It is in these moments when nothing seems to be happening that God is watching closely. Will you trust Him even when you don't see the results yet? Will you hold on to His promise even when there is no proof? This is where true faith is formed, not in receiving but in believing before the manifestation arrives. Most people struggle with this process because they want immediate results. They want to see movement, signs, or confirmation before they fully commit to believing. But faith does not work that way. Faith asks you to believe first, to trust before you see, to walk forward even when the path is unclear. It requires surrendering control, releasing the need for instant gratification, and allowing divine timing to unfold. There is a reason why the greatest blessings do not come instantly. If everything arrived the moment we asked for it, there would be no growth, no transformation, and no deepening of trust. The waiting is not a delay, it is a divine process. It is in the waiting that character is built, endurance is strengthened, and faith is refined. Every great blessing requires preparation, and that preparation often comes in the form of patience. Think of a seed planted in the ground. The moment it is placed beneath the soil, it begins its journey of transformation. But in the beginning, nothing is visible. There is no sign of growth, no proof that anything is happening. Yet beneath the surface, roots are forming, stretching deep into the earth, preparing to sustain what will soon break through. If someone were to dig up the seed too soon, they would assume it was lifeless. But in reality, it was growing all along. The same is true for your desires, your prayers, your dreams. Just because you cannot see progress does not mean it is not happening. This is where faith is required. Faith asks you to trust the unseen, to believe in the process, and to remain steadfast even when nothing appears to be changing. The greatest rewards go to those who do not give up, who do not allow the silence to shake their confidence, and who continue to walk forward even when there is no visible sign of movement. Patience is not just about waiting, it is about how you wait. Anyone can wait, but very few can wait with unwavering trust. Many become frustrated, discouraged, or doubtful when things do not happen on their timeline. But those who truly understand the divine process remain at peace. They know that every delay is divine alignment, that every moment of waiting is a step closer to fulfillment. They do not allow impatience to lead them to settle for less. They do not try to force things before their time. Instead, they trust, they prepare, and they remain faithful. The reason God stretches your faith before delivering His promise is because what He has for you is greater than what you have imagined. But with greater blessings come greater responsibilities. If your faith is not strong enough to endure the waiting, how will it be strong enough to handle what is coming? If you cannot trust Him in the unseen, how will you trust Him when challenges arise, even after you receive the blessing? Faith is a muscle, and like any muscle, it must be stretched to grow. Every moment of waiting is an opportunity to strengthen that faith, to deepen your trust, and to align yourself with the higher purpose behind your desire. The process is not about testing whether you are worthy. It is about preparing you to fully receive and sustain what is meant for you. Many people give up right before their breakthrough. They grow tired of waiting and assume that if something has not happened yet, it never will. But they fail to realize that the moment when faith feels hardest to hold on to is often the moment right before everything shifts. The greatest blessings require endurance, and endurance is built through patience. So if you find yourself in a season of waiting, do not be discouraged. Do not mistake silence for absence. Do not allow impatience to shake your trust. Instead, lean into faith more deeply. Remind yourself that what is meant for you cannot be taken away, that divine timing is always perfect, and that every moment of waiting is a step toward the fulfillment of the promise. When the breakthrough finally arrives, you will see why the waiting was necessary. You will understand that every delay was actually positioning you for something greater. You will look back and realize that the faith you built during the process was just as valuable as the blessing itself. And in that moment, you will know without a doubt that God was always working, even when you could not see it. There are moments in life when things seem to align in ways that defy logic, when signs appear so clearly that they cannot be ignored. These moments are not coincidences, they are divine synchronicities, guiding you towards something greater. When God is about to give you something big, the unseen world begins to communicate with you in unexpected ways. Messages will appear in dreams, through conversations, and even in the words of strangers. Every detail is orchestrated in your favor, moving you closer to your breakthrough. These signs may come in subtle ways at first. A song on the radio that speaks directly to your situation, a random phrase in a book that answers a question you've been asking, or a stranger who unknowingly delivers a message that resonates deeply. At first, these moments might seem like mere coincidences, but as they continue to appear, you begin to realize they are part of something much bigger. The unseen world is aligning everything, whispering to you that your desires are being fulfilled. One of the most common ways these messages arrive is through dreams. In the stillness of the night, when the conscious mind is at rest, divine guidance flows freely. Some dreams come as direct visions, revealing what is to come. Others are more symbolic, requiring you to pay attention to emotions, imagery, and themes. When a dream repeats itself or evokes a deep sense of knowing, it is often a message preparing you for what lies ahead. These dreams are not random. They are glimpses of the unseen forces at work, shifting things in your favor. Beyond dreams, synchronicities will appear in your waking life. You may think of someone and then unexpectedly hear from them. You may be contemplating a major decision when a sign suddenly confirms what your intuition already knew. Repeating numbers, familiar symbols, or meaningful patterns begin to emerge, reminding you that you are on the right path. The world around you begins to reflect your inner state, proving that everything is connected in ways beyond human understanding. These divine signs often come when doubt tries to creep in. Just when you begin to question whether your desires will manifest, an unexpected confirmation appears. A conversation with a stranger might provide the exact reassurance you need. A random event might push you in the direction you were hesitant to take. This is how the unseen world works, moving through people, places, and circumstances to lead you where you are meant to go. At times, these synchronicities serve as a call to take action. When an opportunity arises that aligns with what you have been praying for, it is not a mistake. When the right people show up in your life at the perfect time, it is not by accident. The universe is responding to your faith, arranging everything according to divine timing. Your only task is to recognize these moments and trust them. Many people dismiss these signs, believing them to be coincidences. But nothing in this world happens without purpose. The more you pay attention, the more you realize that life is always communicating with you. The people you meet, the situations you encounter, and the unexpected messages that come your way are all part of the divine orchestration. Every detail is intentional, guiding you towards something far greater than you can see. Sometimes the messages come in ways that challenge you. A door closing, a sudden change in plans, or a delay that forces you to wait. All of these are signs too. Not all synchronicities are about moving forward immediately. Some are about pausing, redirecting, or preparing. If something you desired does not come as expected, it is not a rejection but a realignment. What is meant for you will always find its way, and the signs will continue to appear until you fully trust the process. The most powerful synchronicities are the ones that stir something deep within you. It may be an unexplainable feeling of knowing, a moment of overwhelming peace, or a sudden realization that everything is happening exactly as it should. This is the unseen world affirming that you are not alone, that your prayers have been heard, and that your breakthrough is unfolding. When you start seeing these unexpected signs and synchronicities, do not ignore them. Pay attention, write them down, reflect on them, trust them. The more you acknowledge them, the more they will appear. The more you trust, the clearer the path becomes. You are being guided, supported, and aligned with something far greater than you can imagine. When God is about to give you something big, the signs will be undeniable. You will hear messages in unexpected places, see patterns too precise to be random, and feel an inner knowing that cannot be shaken. This is the unseen world at work, aligning everything in your favor. Stay open, stay aware, and most importantly, stay in faith. What is coming is already yours. When God is about to give you something big, He prepares you in ways that may not always make sense at first. Your life may feel disrupted, but it is only being rearranged for something greater. You may experience isolation, but this solitude is where clarity and strength are born. Unusual opposition and delays may arise, but they are not roadblocks. They are signs that you are stepping into something beyond what you can currently see. Amidst all of this, an unshakable inner knowing will persist, reminding you that your breakthrough is near. Your faith will be tested, but this testing is not to break you. It is to strengthen your trust in what you cannot yet see. And when the time is right, unexpected signs and synchronicities will begin to appear, confirming that everything is aligning in your favor. Do not be deceived by appearances. What you see now is not the final chapter. The one who has begun a great work in you does not abandon his creation. What has been set in motion in the unseen must be fulfilled. Your desires, your visions, your deepest longings, these are not random. They are divine whispers, reminding you of what already belongs to you. So many allow doubt to creep in. They question, they struggle, they beg. But I tell you, your battle is not to force or to fight. It is simply to believe. The seed has already been planted. The tree does not question whether it will grow. It simply unfolds in time. So must you. Look beyond the present moment. Do not let temporary obstacles deceive you. The unseen is far more real than what you touch and see. Your current reality is only a reflection of past assumptions. But the future, the future is shaped by what you accept as true now. You may say, but I do not see the evidence. I tell you, evidence follows belief, not the other way around. Assume that it is already done, and life must rearrange itself to reflect your conviction. There is no force working against you, only your own hesitations, your own disbelief. Even if time seems to pass, even if the wait feels long, understand this: delay is not denial. The moment you desired it, it was already yours. The timing is not your concern. Trust that what has begun will be completed. So I ask you now, can you dare to trust? Can you rest in the knowing that all things are being perfected in their time? Walk today as if the promise is fulfilled. Speak as if the blessing has arrived. Let your heart be settled, for what God has started, He will surely complete. You need only believe. There is a divine order to life, an unseen intelligence that orchestrates everything in perfect harmony. What has been set in motion by this higher power is never left unfinished. The vision placed within you, the desires that stir your heart, are not mere wishes or fleeting thoughts. They are glimpses of a reality that already exists beyond what your senses can perceive. They are the whispers of completion, the echoes of a promise already fulfilled in the unseen. Many struggle with doubt, believing that their dreams are too distant or impossible. They look around at their current circumstances and see only lack, delay, or resistance. But I tell you, what is seen is temporary, and what is unseen is eternal. If a desire has been placed in your heart, it has already been created in the invisible realm. Your role is not to question how or when it will appear, but to trust that it must. The very existence of the vision within you is proof that it belongs to you. Consider the seasons of nature. The tree that sheds its leaves in autumn does not panic, nor does it worry if it will bloom again in spring. There is a divine intelligence at work. ensuring that what has begun will reach its fullness. And so it is with your life. If a seed has been planted, the harvest is inevitable. Your desires are not meaningless. They are the seeds of your destiny, already nurtured in the unseen. The mistake so many make is believing in the appearance of lack rather than the certainty of completion. They observe delays and assume their desires have been abandoned. They pray but then immediately doubt. They hope but still entertain fear. Yet faith is not a desperate plea. It is the calm assurance that what has been set in motion will reach its fulfillment. Just as a child does not doubt that night will give way to morning, so must you trust that what has begun will be perfected. The completion of what has been started is not dependent on external conditions, nor on your constant striving. It is not through struggle or force that your vision comes to life, but through alignment with the unseen truth. If you could see, even for a moment, the full picture, the divine blueprint of your life, you would never again entertain doubt. You would know without question that all is unfolding exactly as it should. There is a time for every manifestation. Some things appear quickly while others seem to delay, but delay is not abandonment. Just as an artist does not rush a masterpiece, so too does the divine work with precision, ensuring that every detail is perfected before it is revealed. Impatience does not speed up the process, it only creates unnecessary suffering. But trust, true, unwavering trust, creates an ease that allows what is already yours to come forth effortlessly. So what then must you do? You must shift your gaze from the seen to the unseen. You must no longer allow appearances to dictate what you believe. If you can hold the vision within you, if you can live from the end result and walk in the certainty that all is complete, then you will see with your own eyes the fulfillment of what was always yours. You do not need to beg, plead, or force things to happen. The work has already been done. The plan has already been set in motion. All that is required is your faith, your willingness to rest in the knowing that the higher power that started this work will finish it. Just as a river flows effortlessly to the sea, so too must your life move toward its perfect completion. Trust, surrender, and know. What has been divinely set in motion cannot fail. It is already done. There comes a moment when you must realize that all the struggle, all the effort, all the pushing and forcing has been unnecessary. You were never meant to fight for what is already yours. You were never meant to exhaust yourself trying to make something happen that has already been completed in the unseen. Your only responsibility is to believe, to trust in the unseen reality, to accept that what you have desired is already accomplished, and to rest in that certainty. But the mind, conditioned by the world, resists this truth. It wants to control, to manipulate circumstances, to insist that things must happen in a certain way and on a certain timeline. It looks at what is visible and says, "This is not enough," or "This is not working." And so, people fall into struggle. They think that by working harder, by pushing more, by worrying, they can force their desires into existence. But the truth is, struggle does not bring results, belief does. To believe is not to wish. It is not to hope that someday, somehow, things will improve. Belief is the deep, unshakable knowing that the end is already secured. It is walking with the confidence that what has been promised is already fulfilled. It is assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not as something you are trying to make happen, but as something that already is. Look around at those who seem to move through life effortlessly, who attract success, love, and abundance without strain. They are not caught up in the struggle. They are not fighting for every opportunity or chasing after every possibility. Instead, they hold a quiet, inner assurance that everything they need will come to them. This is the power of belief. It removes resistance and allows life to unfold in the way it was always meant to. Struggle is born out of fear. The fear that if you do not push, nothing will happen. The fear that if you let go, your desires will slip away. But fear is a lie. It is an illusion that keeps you trapped in unnecessary suffering. When you release the need to struggle, when you surrender to the truth that all is already completed, you free yourself. You move into a state of ease, where things begin to fall into place effortlessly. Some may ask, but if I do nothing, how will things happen? And this is where understanding is needed. To believe is not to do nothing. It is to act from a place of certainty rather than desperation. It is to move through life as though your desires are already fulfilled. It is to think, speak, and behave in alignment with the reality you have chosen. When you do this, the right actions will come naturally, without force, without struggle. When you assume the end is done, life responds to your assumption. The unseen forces begin to move, orchestrating events in ways you could never predict. Doors open effortlessly, opportunities present themselves without you needing to chase them, and the people and circumstances necessary for your fulfillment come to you with perfect timing. This is the divine order at work. But if you insist on struggling, if you continue to believe that you must fight for what is already yours, you create resistance. You push away the very things you are trying to attract. The more you believe in difficulty, the more difficult life becomes. The more you hold on to struggle, the more struggle appears. So release it. Let go of the unnecessary battle. Accept right now that the work is already done. See yourself already possessing what you desire. Feel the reality of it in your mind and heart. Walk as if it is already yours, because it is. When you do this, you will find that life becomes effortless. The need to struggle will disappear, and you will finally understand the truth. The battle was never yours to fight. It was always won. Your only role was to believe. Faith is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, the force that brings into form what already exists in the invisible realm. The moment you assume something as true, you set a divine process in motion, a process that cannot fail unless you interfere with it through doubt. Your role is not to question how or when, but to remain unwavering in your belief that what has been promised is already yours. The world around you is not random. It is a reflection of what you persistently hold as true in your mind. Your assumptions shape your reality, whether you are conscious of it or not. If you assume lack, struggle, or delay, that is what you will experience. But if you assume fulfillment, success, and ease, your world must conform to that belief. It is not a matter of luck or external circumstances. It is law. The inner world and the outer world are one. And faith is the key that aligns them. Many people do not realize they are delaying their own blessings by entertaining doubt. They pray for something, yet in the next breath they question whether it will really happen. They visualize a better life, yet they continue to speak words of fear and lack. They assume something is possible, but only if everything aligns in a way they can logically understand. But faith does not work this way. Faith is the certainty that the promise is already fulfilled, regardless of appearances. Doubt is the greatest thief of manifestation. The moment you allow uncertainty to take root, you begin to waver, and in doing so, you disrupt the process that was already in motion. Imagine planting a seed and then digging it up every day to see if it has started growing. That is what doubt does. It uproots the work of faith. The seed of your desire must be nurtured with belief, watered with expectancy, and left undisturbed. Faith does not beg or plead. It does not seek confirmation from the outside world. Faith declares that it is already done. It rests in the knowing that what is unseen will soon be seen. The one who lives in faith walks differently, speaks differently, and moves through life with a quiet confidence. There is no desperation, no chasing, no struggling, only a calm assurance that what has been promised must unfold. Look at those who manifest effortlessly, those who seem to attract what they desire with ease. They are not caught in cycles of doubt. They have trained themselves to persist in the assumption of their chosen reality. Even when circumstances appear unchanged, they do not waver. They remain steadfast, knowing that reality must rearrange itself to match their belief. And so their desires come to pass, not because they forced them into existence, but because they aligned themselves with the certainty of the promise. What you persistently assume as true must unfold in your world. This is not a mere philosophy, it is a divine principle. Your assumption creates your experience. If you desire something, you must live as though it is already yours. Speak as if it is done. Think from the end result. Feel the joy of having it now. The more natural this assumption becomes, the faster it manifests. The moment you shift from doubt to unwavering faith, everything changes. Delays disappear, obstacles dissolve, and doors open effortlessly. It is not because you have forced things to happen, but because you have aligned yourself with the truth that they were already meant to happen. You have stepped into the reality where your desires are not wishes, but facts. So hold fast to your faith. Do not be swayed by what your senses tell you. Stand firm in the knowing that what has been promised is already yours. Refuse to entertain doubt, and watch as your world transforms before your eyes. Faith is the key, and once you grasp it fully, nothing will be impossible for you. What you see before you now is nothing more than a reflection of past thoughts, past beliefs, and past assumptions. It is a shadow, an echo of what once existed in your mind. But it does not define your future, nor does it hold power over what is to come, unless you allow it to. Too often people become trapped by their present circumstances, believing that what they see is the ultimate truth. They allow their senses to dictate their beliefs, forgetting that the unseen is far more real than what appears before them. Your current reality is not a fixed state. It is fluid, constantly shifting and rearranging itself in response to what you accept as true. If you continue to believe that what you see is all there is, you will remain bound to it. But the moment you understand that the unseen is at work, shaping, aligning, and bringing forth a new reality, you free yourself from the limitations of the present moment. There are unseen forces at play far beyond what your senses can perceive. Just because you do not see evidence of change does not mean change is not happening. A seed buried in the soil does not reveal immediate growth, yet beneath the surface, life is stirring, roots are forming, strength is building, and in due time the results will break through into the visible world. The same is true for your desires. What you have set in motion through belief is already unfolding, even if your eyes have yet to see it. Circumstances are deceptive because they are only a reflection of past assumptions. They are not a prediction of what is to come unless you make them so. Many people fall into the trap of reinforcing their struggles by reacting to them. They look at their lack and say, "This is just how things are." They experience setbacks and declare, "Nothing ever changes for me." In doing so, they unknowingly recreate the same experiences over and over. But the one who understands the truth does not allow circumstances to dictate their belief. They look beyond what is seen, knowing that the unseen is more powerful. They do not react to temporary conditions because they know conditions are just that, temporary. Instead of reinforcing what they do not want, they hold steadfast to the vision of what they have chosen to experience. This is why it is essential to discipline the mind. If you allow yourself to be ruled by what your senses tell you, you will be tossed around by circumstances, never breaking free. But when you train yourself to remain fixed on the unseen reality, you become unshakable. You no longer respond to delays with frustration, nor do you allow challenges to make you doubt. You simply know that what is unseen is real, and what is real must manifest. Think of the great minds throughout history, those who changed the course of their lives and the lives of others. They were not people who accepted circumstances as truth. They were visionaries, seeing beyond what was in front of them. They held on to their belief even when all external evidence suggested otherwise. And because they did, Reality had no choice but to conform. You too must adopt this way of thinking. What you desire already exists in the unseen, waiting for you to accept it as true. The moment you shift your belief, truly and deeply, everything begins to move in your favor. Circumstances will change, doors will open, and opportunities will arise, not by chance, but by law. So, do not be deceived by appearances. What you see now is irrelevant. It holds no power unless you give it power. Instead, fix your mind on the unseen reality, knowing that forces beyond your comprehension are aligning everything perfectly. Remain steadfast, unshaken, and certain. What you have assumed is true must unfold. It is already done. There is an appointed time for everything. The desires you have set in motion through belief are not being denied. They are simply aligning themselves with the perfect moment. Too often, people mistake delay for failure, assuming that if something has not yet appeared, it must mean that it never will. But this is a misunderstanding of how divine timing works. Nothing is ever truly delayed. Everything arrives exactly when it is meant to. When you plant a seed in the ground, you do not expect it to sprout instantly. You understand that it must go through a process. First, the roots must take hold beneath the surface, unseen and unnoticed. Then, when the time is right, the plant breaks through the soil and becomes visible. If you were to dig up the seed in frustration, assuming it was not growing simply because you could not see it, you would be sabotaging its natural process. The same is true for your desires. They are growing, developing, and aligning with the perfect conditions. The fact that you cannot yet see them does not mean they are not on their way. Impatience is the enemy of manifestation. Many people give up right before their desire is about to materialize because they allow doubt to creep in. They mistake temporary stillness for stagnation, not realizing that the unseen forces are at work, orchestrating everything with precision. The universe does not operate on human impatience. It operates on divine timing, ensuring that all things unfold in the most harmonious way possible. Consider the times in your life when something you desperately wanted did not arrive when you expected it, but later you saw that the delay was a blessing. Perhaps it protected you from an unfavorable situation, or perhaps it allowed you to grow into the person who was truly ready to receive it. Trust that this same wisdom is at work in every aspect of your life. You are never being punished, only prepared. There is no need to force or struggle. What is yours cannot be taken from you, and what is meant for you cannot arrive too soon or too late. If something has not yet appeared, it is only because the perfect moment is being arranged. Trust that all things are moving in alignment with your highest good. The forces beyond your understanding see the full picture, while you may only see a fragment of it. Your role is not to worry about the how or the when. Your role is to trust. When you truly embrace this trust, a profound peace takes over. You no longer rush or chase, nor do you fall into frustration. You simply know that everything is happening exactly as it should. You move through life with an inner calm, understanding that the promise is already fulfilled in the unseen, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. Look at nature. Everything unfolds in perfect rhythm. The seasons do not rush, nor do they resist. The sun rises and sets at its appointed time. The tides move in harmony with the moon, and every living thing follows an inherent order. Your desires are no different. They are unfolding with precision, following the path of least resistance. The only thing that can disrupt this flow is doubt, impatience, or the belief that delay means denial. Do not let the illusion of time deceive you. Just because you cannot see movement does not mean things are not shifting. Even in moments of stillness, great things are happening behind the scenes. Trust in the unseen, knowing that divine timing is always perfect. When the moment is right, your desire will manifest effortlessly, as if it had been there all along. And when it does, you will realize that it could not have happened a moment sooner or later. It arrived exactly when it was meant to. There is a profound truth that governs all creation. You must become internally what you wish to experience externally. Reality is not something separate from you. It is a reflection of your inner state. The moment you assume that your desire is already fulfilled, you shift into alignment with it, and the unseen forces begin to shape your world accordingly. It is not enough to hope or wish. You must live as if it is already done. Many people misunderstand this principle. They wait for external confirmation before they allow themselves to believe. They say, once I have the money, I will feel wealthy, or once I meet the right person, I will feel loved. But this is not how creation works. The outer world does not come first. The inner world does. You must feel wealthy before the money comes. You must feel loved before the relationship appears. And you must feel successful before success manifests. When you embody the feeling of your desire as if it is already done, the world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. This is not pretense. It is a shift in consciousness. You are not pretending to have something that is not yet real. You are acknowledging that in the unseen realm, it already exists. The only reason it has not yet materialized in your physical world is because you have not fully claimed it as your own. The moment you do, everything begins to move in your favor. Consider the way a person behaves when they know something with absolute certainty. There is no doubt, no hesitation, no questioning. If you had already received what you desire, how would you think? How would you walk? How would you speak? How would you carry yourself? That is the version of you that must exist now. When you adopt this mindset, you send a clear and unwavering signal to the universe. There is no room for doubt because in your mind it is already done. And because reality must conform to your dominant assumptions, what was once unseen, the key is persistence. Many people momentarily assume their wish fulfilled but quickly fall back into old patterns of doubt and lack. They check their circumstances for evidence, and when they do not immediately see change, they waver. But the one who truly understands does not do this. They remain steadfast in their conviction, unaffected by the present moment, knowing that reality is in the process of shifting. Imagine an actor who has been cast in a leading role. He does not wait until opening night to step into character. He becomes that character long before anyone sees him perform. He immerses himself in the role, thinking, speaking, and behaving as that character until it becomes second nature. This is how you must live. You are stepping into the role of the person who already has what they desire. And as you do, the world responds accordingly. There will be moments when doubt tries to creep in. The old self, conditioned by years of seeing reality as something separate and fixed, may attempt to reassert itself. But you must remain firm. When those moments arise, remind yourself, it is already done. Do not react to appearances, for they are merely echoes of past assumptions. Instead, keep your focus on the end result, embodying it fully. With time, what once required conscious effort will become natural. The state of being you have chosen will feel effortless, and as it does, your world will shift to reflect it. Suddenly, opportunities will arise, people will appear, and circumstances will rearrange themselves to match your assumption, not by force, not by struggle, but by the simple law that what you believe to be true must become your reality. So, walk with certainty. Speak as if it is already yours. Think from the end result and refuse to entertain any thought that contradicts it. Live as if it is already done, and soon you will look around and realize it is. Everything that has been set in motion in your life is already complete in the unseen. Your role is not to struggle or question, but to trust and embody the reality you desire. Circumstances do not define your outcome, your belief does. Delay is never denial. It is divine timing ensuring that all things align perfectly for you. The moment you live as if it is already done, the world has no choice but to conform. Hold steadfast in your conviction. Do not let doubt or fear shake what you know to be true. The unseen forces are always at work, orchestrating every detail in your favor. What you desire is not beyond your reach. It is already yours. Walk with certainty, think from the end, and trust that God will complete what He has started in your life. There comes a moment when all the seeds you have planted begin to bloom, a time when the universe in its infinite wisdom repays you for every unseen sacrifice, every silent prayer, and every step taken in faith. That moment is now. You may have doubted, you may have wondered if all your effort was in vain, but nothing is ever lost. The energy you sent out, the kindness, the persistence, the love, it has never vanished. It has simply been gathering, multiplying, waiting for the perfect moment to return to you. You have been patient in the waiting. You have kept faith even when the evidence around you suggested otherwise. But I tell you, the unseen is more real than what your eyes perceive. Right now, beyond what you can see, forces are shifting, doors are opening, opportunities are aligning. The very things you once prayed for are already in motion, moving swiftly toward you. But listen carefully. Your task now is not to chase, not to beg, not to struggle. The universe does not reward force. It rewards certainty. It rewards those who stand in quiet confidence, knowing that what is theirs will find them. So release all doubt. Feel the gratitude now as if you already have what you seek. Walk as if your success is inevitable, because it is. Speak as if you are already living your dreams, because you are. You are stepping into a time of abundance. What once seemed impossible will soon seem effortless. The universe is repaying you, not in small measures, but in overflowing, undeniable ways. The only thing left for you to do is to receive. Everything in this universe operates on a principle that is as old as time itself. What you give, you receive. The energy you send out into the world does not disappear. It lingers, expands, and eventually returns to you in ways beyond your comprehension. The thoughts you think, the emotions you cultivate, and the actions you take are not isolated moments, but seeds planted in the field of reality. Each seed grows according to its nature, and in due time, you reap exactly what you have sown. There is no force in existence that can override this law. If you have given love freely, even in moments when it was not reciprocated, understand that love is never lost. It moves, it transforms, it circles back in ways that may surprise you. Perhaps it does not return from the person you expected or in the manner you anticipated, but it returns nonetheless. Every act of kindness, every moment of patience, every silent offering of faith is recorded by the unseen forces that govern existence. You may have endured seasons where it seemed like your goodness was overlooked. You gave your best, but the world did not immediately return the favor. You extended generosity, but were met with ingratitude. You supported others, yet found yourself standing alone when you needed help. In those moments, it is easy to believe that your efforts were in vain, that the universe is indifferent, that life is unfair. But that is only because you are measuring your return too soon. The universe does not work on your schedule. It operates in divine timing. Think of the farmer who plants his crop. He does not dig up the soil the next day to see if the seeds have sprouted. He trusts the process. He knows that beneath the surface something is taking root. He does not doubt, nor does he curse the ground for not yielding immediate results. Instead, he nurtures the land, waters the soil, and allows time to do its work. And then, in due season, the harvest arrives, not as a single grain, but in abundance. So it is with your life. Every time you have chosen faith over fear, patience over frustration, or kindness over bitterness, you have made a deposit into the unseen bank of the universe. And the universe never fails to repay what is owed. The energy you have invested is not lost. It has been accumulating interest, waiting for the right moment to be released back into your life, multiplied beyond measure. This is why you must never grow weary in doing good. Even when the world appears ungrateful, even when the results are not immediate, trust that your efforts are shaping a reality that you will one day step into. You do not always see how the universe is working behind the scenes. You do not always recognize how your seemingly small actions are creating ripple effects that will one day return to you in ways that are beyond your imagination. The key is to give without attachment, to act with a heart full of faith rather than expectation. When you give in order to receive, you operate from lack. But when you give because you trust in the abundance of the universe, you open yourself to a return far greater than anything you could have orchestrated on your own. You are not at the mercy of randomness. You are an active participant in the creation of your reality. Your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, these are the tools with which you shape your destiny. If you have planted good seeds, trust that your harvest is inevitable. If you have given freely, understand that abundance is on its way to you. At this very moment, unseen forces are working on your behalf. The kindness you extended in silence, the patience you practiced in solitude, the love you gave without condition, these have not gone unnoticed. You are standing on the edge of receiving all that you have given in ways that will astound you. Trust in the law that governs all things. The universe is merely reflecting back to you what you have already placed within it. Your return is guaranteed. There are moments in life when everything appears still, as if nothing is changing, and your desires seem far from reach. You have done the work, set your intentions, and waited patiently, yet nothing seems to shift. It is in these moments that doubt creeps in, whispering that perhaps you are forgotten, that maybe what you seek is not meant for you. But I tell you, what you perceive as stillness is not emptiness. Beneath the surface of what you can see, forces beyond your understanding are working tirelessly on your behalf. Just as the roots of a tree grow deep in the darkness of the soil long before its branches reach for the sky, your manifestations are taking form in the unseen. You may not yet see the results, but that does not mean they are not coming. The universe does not operate on human impatience. It functions on divine timing, ensuring that what is meant for you arrives not a moment too early or too late, but precisely when you are ready to receive it. Consider the caterpillar that spins itself into a cocoon. To the outside world, it looks as though nothing is happening. It appears lifeless, unmoving, as if it has been abandoned by time. But inside, a miraculous transformation is taking place. Its very structure is dissolving, reforming into something entirely new. If someone were to intervene too soon, breaking the cocoon before the process is complete, the butterfly would not survive. So too is your journey. If you were to receive everything you asked for in an instant, before you were truly prepared, it might not serve you in the way you imagine. Delays are not denials, they are preparation. When things do not unfold as quickly as you would like, trust that there is a reason. The universe is aligning circumstances, moving people, and creating opportunities that you cannot yet perceive. If something has not yet arrived, it is either because something greater is on its way, or because you are being given the time needed to grow into the version of yourself that can fully receive and sustain the blessing. Think back on your life. Were there not moments when you wished for something that, in hindsight, you now see would not have been right for you at the time? Were there not times when what felt like rejection was in truth redirection? What you call delays are often moments of grace, protecting you from stepping into something before you are truly ready. The universe does not operate in half measures. When it moves completely. What you desire is not being withheld. It is being carefully prepared so that when it arrives, it is perfect. Every obstacle, every seeming setback is simply a piece of the puzzle fitting into place. You do not need to see the entire picture to know that it is forming. You only need to trust that unseen hands are working on your behalf. This is why faith is essential. Faith is the knowing deep in your being that even when you see nothing, something is happening. Faith is the ability to rest in the certainty that if it is meant for you, it will find you. The impatience you feel is not a sign that you must do more. It is a sign that you must trust more. Right now, beyond what your eyes can perceive. The forces of the universe are setting things in motion. Conversations are being had in rooms you have not entered yet. People are being moved into position. Doors are being built that will soon open effortlessly before you. What is yours is making its way toward you. The waiting is not punishment. It is part of the process. And when it arrives, you will understand why it took time. You will see that the invisible forces were never absent. They were always working, preparing something greater than you ever imagined. Your imagination is the most powerful tool you possess. It is not mere fantasy, nor is it wishful thinking. It is the gateway between the unseen and the seen, the bridge between what is and what can be. Every great achievement, every invention, every transformation first began in the mind before it was ever made manifest in the physical world. The life you desire, the experiences you long for, already exist in the unseen realm, waiting for you to claim them as yours. When you close your eyes and see yourself living the life you desire, you are not simply daydreaming. You are stepping into a reality that is already formed. The mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It accepts whatever you impress upon it as truth, and from that truth, it shapes your reality. If you consistently see yourself as abundant, loved, successful, and fulfilled, then the world around you will begin to rearrange itself to reflect that inner vision. Most people believe they must first see physical evidence before they can believe something is real, but this is an illusion. Everything you have now was once unseen. The clothes you wear, the home you live in, the technology you use, before they were physical, they existed as thoughts in someone's mind. They were brought into reality through the power of belief and action. The same is true for the life you wish to create. Doubt and fear only arise when you forget the power of your imagination. When you believe that you are bound by your current circumstances, you limit yourself to what is, rather than what could be. But the moment you shift your inner world, your outer world must follow. The universe does not delay. It immediately begins aligning events, people, and circumstances to bring forth what you have accepted as true in your mind. This is why you must be intentional with your imagination. Do not use it to dwell on lack, fear, or failure, for if you do, that is what will continue to manifest. Instead, use it as a tool of creation. If you desire wealth, see yourself already possessing it. Feel the joy, the freedom, the confidence that comes with financial abundance. If you desire love, see yourself in a relationship that is fulfilling and harmonious. Let your mind live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, for it is that feeling that brings it into being. Many people dismiss imagination as childish or unrealistic, yet the most successful and fulfilled individuals throughout history have understood its power. They knew that their vision must come first, that the external world would only reflect what they had already accepted internally. If you wish to change your life, you must first change your concept of yourself. You must see yourself as the person who already has what you desire. You do not need to know how it will happen. The how is not your concern. That is the work of the universe. Your only task is to accept it as true, to live in the certainty that it is already yours. When you do this, doors will open where there were once walls. Opportunities will arise that you never could have planned for. People and circumstances will shift in ways that seem miraculous, all because you dared to imagine a new reality for yourself. Your imagination is not separate from reality. It is the blueprint for it. The moment you claim something in your mind, you set forces in motion that will bring it into tangible form. The universe does not resist, it simply responds. So dare to imagine boldly, without limitation. Step into the reality you desire and watch as the world around you transforms to match the vision you hold within. There's a great misunderstanding in the world, one that causes unnecessary pain, frustration, and exhaustion. It is the belief that you must struggle, fight, and push your way to success, that the harder you work, the more you will receive. But this is not how the universe operates. Struggle does not bring blessings. Struggle repels them. The more you strain, the more you affirm to yourself and to the universe that what you desire is distant, difficult, and uncertain. But when you let go of the need to control, when you accept that what is meant for you is already yours, you step into the natural flow of creation, and everything begins to move effortlessly in your favor. Think of a river. When you fight against the current, you exhaust yourself, making little progress. But the moment you surrender and allow the current to carry you, you move swiftly and smoothly toward your destination. Life operates in the same way. When you stop resisting, when you stop doubting, when you release the tension in your mind and body, you allow the flow of abundance to reach you. Many people believe they must prove themselves worthy of their desires through effort, that they must work endlessly to achieve their goals. But the truth is, the universe does not respond to struggle. It responds to belief. It does not bring you what you chase, it brings you what you are. If you believe you must struggle, you will receive more struggle. If you believe you must work endlessly, you will always feel like you are behind, never quite reaching the ease and abundance you seek. But if you believe that what you desire is already yours, that it is flowing to you effortlessly, then it must come. The reason many people fail to manifest their desires is not that the universe is unwilling, but that they are too focused on their lack, on the fear that it will not happen. Their energy is spent on worrying, doubting, and trying to force outcomes instead of trusting the process. But the moment you shift into a state of certainty, when you no longer question whether it will happen, but instead know that it is already in motion, everything begins to align. Letting go does not mean giving up. It does not mean doing nothing. It means releasing the mental and emotional resistance that blocks your blessings from reaching you. It means trusting the timing of your life, understanding that the universe sees the bigger picture, and knowing that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. When you stop gripping so tightly, when you no longer chase, you allow what is truly meant for you to come with ease. There is nothing outside of you that you need to attain before you can have what you desire. The moment you feel that you must work harder, that you must do more to prove yourself, you are affirming that you do not yet have it. But when you step into the energy of already being the person who has it, when you feel the certainty of its arrival, it must come. You have seen this in your own life. The things that came effortlessly, the moments where everything just seemed to fall into place, those were the times you were in alignment. You were not forcing, not doubting, not trying to control every detail. You were simply allowing. And when you allow, you receive. The universe is always responding to your energy. The question is not whether you are working hard enough, but whether you are aligned with what you seek. The moment you release resistance, the moment you stop worrying and instead rest in the knowing that it is already yours, the universe rushes to deliver it. Because it was never far away. It was always waiting for you to stop struggling and simply receive. Nothing you have done has been wasted. Every moment of struggle, every sacrifice you made, every tear you shed in silence, none of it has gone unnoticed. The universe has been keeping record, not in the way the world does, but in the unseen balance of cause and effect. Every seed you planted, whether in faith, love, patience, or endurance, is now ready to bear fruit. You are stepping into a season where all that you have given, all that you have endured, will return to you in ways beyond what you could have imagined. It may have felt at times as if your efforts were in vain. Perhaps you poured your heart into something, a dream, a relationship, a path, only to see it fall apart. Maybe you gave your best, only to be met with disappointment or delay. But what if I told you that nothing was ever lost? That even the pain you experienced was serving a higher purpose, positioning you for something greater. The universe is precise. It does not forget. It does not take without the intention of giving back tenfold. Every hardship you have faced has been preparing you, refining you, shaping you into the person who can receive the blessings that are on their way. There is a divine order to everything, even when you cannot yet see it.